You know who it is. It is the bearer of truth speaking right now. And as you can see, I typed in while I was on YouTube, I typed in white labor unions. I did that for a reason. Because I was thinking about something today. I was thinking about how joblessness in the black community is not just, that's not the only problem that causes the violence in the community, that causes the stress and the mental disorder and the dysfunction in the black community. It's not just the joblessness. It's the low-paying jobs as well. Let me explain. I was thinking to myself, white people, they don't have to work that hard. Oh, damn you white people. You don't have to work hard for nothing. That's a lie, people. That's a lie. There is a large percentage, I would even say the majority of white people, white Americans, work their fucking butts off. The big difference is the fact that they get these all-white union jobs. These union jobs pay $40 and up, $30 and up. They don't even pay $20 per hour. Okay, I'm talking about the big dogs. The big dogs, they pay $30 and up. Okay? That, you could make a living off of that. These are the guys that you see working on the rooftops. The guys you see building those complexes and those infrastructures. White men work their butts off. They work hard, and they live in big, nice houses. They can afford to put their children in the best schools. They can afford the best foods, the best clothing. They get to go out and enjoy a day at the game, football games, basketball games. Doesn't matter. They got the money for it. Fast cars, expensive cars. They got it all. And I used to think, and I know a lot of you, particularly black people, used to think that they didn't work hard. No. They worked their asses off. And they'll even tell you, I've seen it myself. These people work. These white men, they fucking work. Okay? Now, I'm going to let you watch this 5-minute video. Take a look.
In New York and Philadelphia, blacks own less than 20% of the cabs. Government licensing closes the door to economic opportunity. Nearly 1,000 occupations in the United States exclude people who do not have licenses. Sometimes the licenses cost money. Sometimes they require the applicant to pass complicated tests that have little to do with the job. Sometimes getting a license requires a friend in the business. All those licensing laws do just one thing: keep outsiders out. Those outsiders are often members of minority groups.
Back during the 30s and 40s, there were practices that were rampant in the South, particularly in the former slaveholding states, where blacks were specifically excluded by predominantly white unions. Example, electricians' unions, plumbers' unions, railroad firemen unions, and at that time, the records of history will demonstrate that it was the purpose of white unions to exclude blacks, minorities in general, from the workplace. In fact, there were statements specifically made in connection with occupational licensing regulations that if this law is successful, it will have the effect of reducing to a minimum the involvement of blacks, or Negroes as they were called then, in the workplace.
This is the Mount Zion United Methodist Church in Washington, D.C. Back in 1880, when Washington was still a segregated city, this beautiful building was built by black artisans, black plumbers, carpenters, and masons. And mind you, all working under black supervision. So are many other important public buildings in this city
and in cities throughout the South.
Today, that sounds remarkable. Even now, black people have a hard time breaking into the skilled construction trades. The fact is, in the late 1800s, black people were better represented in many of the skilled trades than they are today. Today, such blatant racism is illegal, and many union leaders would like to see more black workers in union jobs. But again, good intentions don't always produce good results.
The effect of the government endorsing collective bargaining and the closed shop concept within the union movement was that it basically locked in place to a large degree for a generation or two to come white domination of unions. And when you confer upon a union, in effect, monopoly rights to bargain collectively for the entire workforce, they in effect can lay out the conditions, they can set the price for their labor, and they can control entrance to that particular industry.
Restrictive labor laws are just like minimum wages in some ways. In effect, they force inexperienced workers to charge more for their labor and thus keep them from competing for jobs. There are many examples, but one of the most infamous is the Davis-Bacon Act, passed in the racist days of 1931, but still enforced today.
The Davis-Bacon Act is a 50-year-old law passed during the Depression, the purpose of which was to prevent employers from undercutting wages at a time when it was very much a seller's market of employment, a very high unemployment rate, and it was a worker protection act. Now, it's very much outdated today because the Davis-Bacon Act, 50 years later, has become a union protection act. The net effect of the Davis-Bacon Act today is that it favors union construction firms.
Most blacks are in non-union construction firms or are independent tradesmen. Davis-Bacon excludes them from most government contracts.
Was the Davis-Bacon Act of 1931. And the Davis-Bacon Act says that all workers in federally funded or federally assisted construction projects must be paid the prevailing wage. And if you look on page 6513 of the Congressional Record on March 31st, 1931, you'll see congressional testimony where congressmen will say, see that contractor over there? He brings cheap colored labor up from the South and puts them in cabins, and it's labor of that sort that has to compete, that white Americans are competing against. There was all kinds of testimony in support of the Davis-Bacon Act that demonstrated that they wanted to keep blacks out of construction. Wow. And see, the tragedy of it is that the Davis-Bacon Act is still on the books today. And another part of the tragedy is that black congressmen, they also support the Davis-Bacon Act. Now, they support the Davis-Bacon Act because unions want the Davis-Bacon Act. Now, the people who support the Davis-Bacon Act today, they just don't use the same rhetoric. They use a more enlightened rhetoric in support of the Davis-Bacon Act.
Okay, so you heard it for yourself, people. As you can see, this video was put up by the Black Professional Network. I'm going to give you the link to this video in the description. So, getting back to what I was talking about. What black people need to do is build their own construction units. It needs to be black owned, it needs to be black operated, and it needs to hire primarily, if not only, black men. Okay? Everybody knows that black men need jobs. All across America, black men are without jobs. They cannot, get a job because of the color of their skin. No matter what your degree is, no matter how smart you are, no matter how many years you spent in college, it's very tough for you to get a job because you're black. That's why black people need to learn how to do for themselves. It's the very same thing Malcolm X said, and that's the only way you can build the black community. That's the only way the black community will ever be built or rebuild itself, is if the people build it themselves. That's the only way. Okay? If you're looking for your president to do it, if you're looking for the white man to do it, he's not going to do it. He doesn't give a fuck about you, black man. He doesn't give a damn about you. Nobody gives a damn about you, apparently. So you got to do shit yourself. Okay? That's what this video was about. Thank you for watching. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Peace.